Hey guys, I'm really excited to bring to you the top 10 video games of 2013. I've been looking forward to doing this, and I wanted to get it out before school started up again. You won't agree with everything, obviously, that I picked, so hopefully uh, put your comments down below and see if your list is close to mine. And just for YouTube's sake, with all of the annoying copyright controversy that's been going on lately, I was been kind of nervous about making this, but hopefully I can fly under the radar a little bit. I'll be putting a complete list of the games in the description, so I hope you guys enjoy the video and put your comments and like, and remember to subscribe to the channel. Number 11, Special Mention. Star Wars Angry Birds 2. I put this in here as an honorable mention as number 11, just because it was really fun, really amazing. They added in a bunch of characters, as you can see here, Yoda, and you also get to play with the dark side, as it's about to announce here. So you get to play as both the light side and the dark side with a whole list of characters that did make a lot of the characters kind of overpriced, freemium style. Personally, I'm a big fan of the free-to-play because I do like to be able to try out the games a lot, especially when it comes to mobile games. The reason it only is an honorable mention is because it was a lot like the original. Other than this telepods and a lot of extra characters, it was very similar to a traditional game, so it was really great though. I recommend it. Number 10.
My fellow Americans, my fellow saints, today is a day unlike any other day that has come before it. For on this day, we must administer the biggest smackdown in the history of mankind.
Saints Row 4, with the most powerful president ever. Comes in number 10 on my list. It's the fourth iteration of Saints Row. It came out. I give them a lot of props because they didn't want to make themselves a GTA 5 wannabe in a year that GTA 5 was coming out. So they did a good job of just making it very unique and different with adding all these aliens and superpowers and crazy weapons, the dubstep gun. It was really crazy, really awesome. You could just run around and do everything. It's not higher on my list because the day and night cycle is stuck on night, which I found very annoying. I know it's a little thing. Plus the textures could have been a little bit better, but all in all, it's very crazy. You could just run around, do whatever. The superpowers made the game almost a little too easy, but it was really awesome, and I really recommend it. And yeah, enjoy. Number 9. Plants vs. Zombies 2. It's about time, literally. Story behind this is that it launched on iOS exclusive, and it only in Australia of all places. Australia normally gets the crap in games, but for some reason they got it first, and only on iOS. And for those of you who know me, I'm an Android guy first. So I was only able to play this on my iPad, but it finally came out on Android like several months later, so the name is ironic, but it was really fun. They incorporated a lot of cool new stuff, lots of superpowers and abilities, really amazing. Again, like the first two, Saints Row 4, Angry Birds 2, and Plants vs. Zombies 2, they're not higher on the list simply because they just felt like just like expansion packs, like just a bunch of new characters, new powers, but nothing really true and unique. Didn't feel like a true sequel, but it was actually really fun. There was a lot of cool new stuff. I actually still like the first Plants vs. Zombies better. I thought that it was almost a little too complicated, but it was really fun. It was still my favorite mobile game series over Angry Birds. You get to travel and see pirates and just do all kinds of crazy things. I felt like the game was built to make you rely on the superpowers a little too much, but other than that, I mean, it was still really cool. A lot of great visuals for a castle defense style game, especially proving to us that these types of games aren't dead. So enjoy. Highly recommend. Number 8.
I will never forget what he did to her.
DMC Devil May Cry. Now I'm gonna get a lot of garbage for this because a lot of people hated it, but I have to start off with saying I did not play the originals. So to me, this was just a fresh, crazy fantasy beat 'em up game, and it's hack and slash. It had crazy visuals, crazy bosses, crazy world. It just looked crazy, everything. And you're just going on all kinds of different weapons, air battles. You're jumping around in these floating cities in limbo, and amazing characters walking with you. It was just really cool reboot, and I think that if people didn't have the originals clouding their judgment, that they would have liked it a lot more. But just as a standalone game by itself, I had a lot of fun. It was one of the games I beat the fastest out of all of them. So number 7.
How is it that you're never scared?
Who says that I'm not?
What are you scared of?
Number 7 is The Last of Us. Now, I think I'm going to get a lot of people who are just going to be like, you think there are 6 games better than The Last of Us. And there's a lot of people who think The Last of Us was their game of the year. And I understand, but it was just, it was really fun. The visuals were amazing. For a game that it is a scavenger-based game, you're walking around. It really is amazing. The graphics are great. I felt it was a little slow, but it was extremely hyped up, and I had to buy it. It was extremely fun, had a great story. And you do really become attached to Ellie, and she becomes like your kid, and you want to protect her and everything. That's probably what makes the game. The the battle mechanics were just what dropped it a little bit lower on my list for me, just because it was very hard to get along through things, and it's not my preferred style of game. For those who did like it, I could easily see it being number 1, but I do still recommend the game because it is amazing, and you get to see this incredible journey of Joel and Ellie trying to fight the clickers, and it's probably one of the best zombie games I've ever played. So I do highly recommend it, and you should play it if you have a PS3. That was one of the big things. It was exclusive, and exclusive do tend to take a hit. So, but I do recommend it. Number 6. Again, I'm really going to think that I'm going to get a lot of people who are shocked that GTA 5 is so low on my list. It was visually striking of a game. I did pre-order it, and I did get the collector's edition. So I do love my Los Santos hat, and I did very much enjoy crashing the blimp into the Hollywood sign and watching it explode, and just exploring the crazy town. It just feels endless. I felt like it was really hard for me to get into it just because I've never played a GTA game. They're not my preferred style. One of the biggest things I didn't like about the game was just driving around. Was as cool as it was to feel like you're in an actual real place because it's huge. There wasn't a very good system of helping you familiarize yourself with the environment, meaning you actually just kind of felt like you were a new person to the city driving around without a map and without very good, because the map system in that game really sucked. So when you're making this huge open world game, making it have a poor map mechanic is just really stupid. It was a major oversight that I thought really hurt the game significantly, because you can have the largest map in gaming history, but if people can't navigate it very well, it kind of detracts from it. But the game itself was kind of cool. I found myself more wanting to just go around and drive around and do stuff. My favorite part of the game is when Michael, I believe his name is, he pulls down a guy's building with his truck. I was laughing like crazy. There are a lot of funny parts. There's a lot of crazy parts. The game is extremely well made. There are a lot of people that believe it should be game of the year, and I understand. It definitely had a lot of hard work into it. It really is visually really awesome. I do recommend it if you're okay with certain games. I mean, if you're under like the level of maturity. The biggest pet peeve I have is just seeing moms bringing their 4-year-old kid into Target to purchase GTA, and I'm like, what the heck is wrong with you? But all in all, it's really fun if you just want a major open world game. I do see the next gen aspects of it, and I can just see this is how games are going to be in the future. I think it would have maybe rated a little bit better if the map mechanic a little bit, but as you can see from these videos here, there's just so much you can do. It's like endless. You can customize your characters, just play stupid sports. You can, if you can actually make it into the airport, you can fly an airplane if you don't get shot, which I tried like many different times and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Uh, really is great. I don't think it was game of the year. I think there are games up ahead that were better, but it was really fun, and I look forward to playing it. The one of the things I did take away from it was the online launch failure. I felt like that was a major oops. You're launching what could have been a major gaming launch on multiplayer, and it just did not work for a week or two there. But all in all, it has very little negatives as far as mechanics. I didn't experience any glitches when I was playing it, and that was on the 360 version. Uh, all in all, I think it was really great, and I do recommend it, so hope you enjoy. Number 5.
What's going on, Nathan?
This is Ryan Clayton from the CIA. Agency wants you to join their military school program at Camp Perry. You have to go with them, Jody. Today.
Okay, Beyond Two Souls. This was a personal favorite of mine that I really enjoyed. I actually wasn't going to buy it. It was thanks to GameStop 10 case pre-order that I was like, okay, you got me. And I'm one of those gamers that I'm bad on the industry, but I prefer. I don't want to buy the game just straight up if there's nothing special coming with it. So if it's collector's edition, 10K, something like that, I'm more likely to buy it. But it was a sweet surprise. A lot of people gave it garbage just because one of the interesting things is that you can't die in the game, which is kind of interesting. But I think that it's in by design because it is more of an interactive movie. I think actually the ability to die would have detracted from the game. Like, it would have actually kind of awakened you from the fact that this was actually not a movie and not a story that you're watching. And there were so many times during the game that I'm playing it and I actually don't realize, because there's no HUD, that you're actually supposed to do something. There was a few moments I just sat there waiting for something to happen, because this entire video game is one beautiful cutscene that you actually cause things to happen. So it was a very unique feel. I only played the demo for Heavy Rain, so I've never experienced something on this level, and it was quite amazing. Just the beautiful detail and everything. You were watching a movie, that you had impact, and this paranormal aspect to it just made it a whole lot more fun. And they also did something that I thought was really cool that I know is not in Heavy Rain, at least not to this extent, is this aspect of blending this cinematic nature with action adventure. And I think more games will be able to act like this, where your parts of the game feel like a movie, but parts of it feel like just an incredibly realistic and non-game like experience as far as action adventure. Like, I can't wait to see games like Assassin's Creed or other mega open world games act like this, where it just feels like it's a movie. You don't see a HUD, you don't have anything other than just the story, because story to me is the most important part of the game. And being able to follow Ellen Page and her character throughout the game and just kind of be in her shoes and experience this crazy story was really awesome. The only negative I can think is that the story was somewhat hard to follow a little bit at times, because it is extremely jumbled, but all in all, I had an amazing time, especially playing as Aiden, where you just go around and be a ghost and be all paranormal activity on people. It was really awesome, so I do recommend it. Number 4. Call of Duty Ghosts. Now this game got a lot of heat at E3 for their moving fish and the dog and everything like that. But all in all, it was actually my favorite COD game, and it was actually surprisingly good. The campaign, at least, it was well thought out, and it was actually fun. And I think that if this had just been a standalone military game, it would have been really awesome. And the fact is that you start off in space, as you saw in the trailer, is really cool. And the multiplayer added aliens, which I never thought I'd see in a Call of Duty game. And I have to say, I am not a Call of Duty fanboy at all. I am not one of those gamers who that's all they play and that's what they think a gamer is. But it was just really fun. There's a lot of a lot of stealth ops to it, and it wasn't just running and gunning. There was one aspect where you get to control the dog. You get to actually control a robotic sniping machine from a distance. It was very actually strategic for a Call of Duty game, I thought. Even better than Black Ops, and I was a fan of Black Ops. And I think, especially compared to Black Ops with Battlefield 4, which did not make the list because of its launch issues and its unoriginal nature to it, Battlefield 4 was simply a high HD version of Battlefield 3, whereas COD Ghosts, I felt, was as imaginative and unique as a military game can get. I mean, people give it a lot of garbage just because it is Call of Duty, but for what they did, they delivered. I thought it was a really fun game, and it was very unique. And the multiplayer with extinction mode was really cool. So for Call of Duty goes, I thought it did very well, and that's why I made my list. So number 3.
A famous explorer once said that the extraordinary is in what we do, not who we are. I'd finally set out to make my mark. To find adventure. But instead, adventure found me.
Alrighty, Tomb Raider. I was really excited when this game came out. I did not grow up on the originals, so I'm the type of gamer who likes to always start off from the beginning. So I love reboots when they're done well, just because I know I get to start from the beginning and get into a classic. So Tomb Raider was visually amazing, if not slightly improbable. Lara Croft in this game is virtually indestructible in the fact that what she goes through, it would be too much for any human being. But other than that, it is crazy fun stuff. Wolves jumping out, as you can see. You never know what to expect in this game. It just feels like every turn something's going to crash, something's going to throw Lara down an endless cliff, and there's just crazy parts where you're in tombs. The scavenging is really fun. They engineered the scavenging in such a way to where it actually was necessary and you felt like you needed to do it. I also really like the empowerment of Lara a little bit in this game. How she feels like she's important, and she's not just some over sexualized hero. She's a normal woman who's just in a very difficult situation, and I like the redesign of Lara and her character. She's really powerful and really cool, but not over the top and done in such a way to kind of materialize her. And I think they did a good job of just making it just like a normal action game where she's a normal hero and not focusing on the fact that she's a woman or focusing on the fact that they have a woman in the game. And as soon as this came out, I knew it was going to be Game of the Year potential. It was just a very hard year to do that, but it was really amazing, and I recommend it. Gave it actually to one of my friends, so enjoy. Number 2. I think this actually might come as a surprise to some people. Thomas Was Alone came out on PS3. I got it because it was free on PlayStation Plus. And I saw it on Reddit, and there was a bunch of people talking about it, and I'm like, okay, this looks kind of fun. I'm not normally a puzzle gamer. And puzzles, just, I mean, they're not my type of game I usually play, but there's something about this game. It was very unique and it's incredibly simple, but it was also very difficult too. There were some parts of it that I actually had to look up online, and the advancement required precision timing that you don't really see in a lot of games, and it's incredibly simple. And the premise of the game is these little squares and little objects and shapes are actual characters, and this is all taking place in a computer program, and they're just little bits and pieces of code that have sentience to them. And this game does an amazing job of through an amazing narration, very well done, the narration throughout the game, making you actually care about these little shapes. I never thought I'd actually care about these shapes and what happened to them, making sure they don't die and making sure that they're okay and wondering about what they do. And a lot of these, it is actually somewhat a commentary on existence and what it means to know others and our awareness of our surroundings. And you wouldn't expect such complex philosophy and and understanding of like philosophy and philosophical concepts from such a simple puzzle game. I mean, there is a lot of hidden symbolism and hidden just commentary in the game that you don't understand, and you're distracted by just puzzles, and the characters are questioning what death is, and because they're being chased by some cloud of where they get deleted or something, and what it means to be deleted. And Danny Wallace, who is the narrator, does an amazing job of talking about telling you the story of these characters and how they understand them. And these characters never say a word; they never talk. It's all about the narration and what they do. So some of the characters have different personalities, and it's extremely well done. How these you understand that each one of these characters has a personality, even though they're just shapes. They don't have any. They're not a human or anything like that. The puzzles were also well constructed. I was really impressed. This got my Indie Game of the Year award as well. I wanted to play it right after I was done, and I knew I wouldn't be as fun because I knew how to beat all the puzzles. And it was. I can't really think of any negatives to it. I really highly recommend it. It's well worth it. Number 1.
We are free in the land of America. We ain't
Bring us the girl and wipe away the debt. That was the deal. The details elude me now. But the details wouldn't change a thing.
stand tall for the beast of America. Lay down like a naked dead body. Keep it real for the people working overtime. They can't stay living off the government's dime. Stand tall for the people of America. Stand tall for the man next door. We are free in the land of America. We ain't going down like this. Come on now. Come on, people. Come on, people. Come on, people.
Bioshock Infinite. Now this truly is, I don't think will surprise too many people that I picked this. It was an amazing game. I am borrowing this gameplay. It is not me playing. I just want to say that. The game is just visually striking. The story is what makes it, though. It just has an amazing game story to it that you just do not see the ending coming. And I don't want to spoil for anyone, but the ending is is the best video game ending I have ever seen. And I've seen some really crazy ones. And you're just sitting there, and I after the ending happened, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, what the heck just happened? I didn't understand it. It was so complex. I watched the ending again on YouTube, and then I watched someone explain it, and then I'm sitting there, and I'm like, and it finally clicked, and I understood it completely. And it truly hit me how amazing the ending was. And I'm so glad I did not get it spoiled, because if someone had spoiled the ending for me, I would have just cried. Because this is actually another cool thing, is that this was actually another game that I wasn't planning on buying either. Because I didn't at that point, I had not played Bioshock 1 or 2, but I was told that you didn't need to play the first two, and that is true. They have very little to do with the first two, although there are a few Easter eggs that I found out later, including this scene right here. You are in Rapture. You do get to go there, which Rapture is the city that you're in the first two games, whereas you're in Columbia in the third one. Other than that, the games have very little to do with the first two, which is really nice because this game is amazing and deserves to stand on its own. It is not a number 3 by any parts. It is basically a completely new game with similar style to it, but Columbia is just a beautiful world where you're seeing this sky city and you're jumping out through different portals, and your main character Elizabeth makes the game as well, because she is the best companion I've ever had in a game, where she doesn't get in your way. She helps you. You're not worrying about her getting hurt. It really does not feel like she's tagging along and dragging you back the whole game. She actually feels like she's helping you, and the this rapport that Booker and Elizabeth get throughout the game is very nice, and she kind of grows on you as well. There was a little bit of controversy with the game, with some anti-religious aspects to it, but I really don't think they exist as much as they think they were, as much as some people took it as. I think it's actually just a commentary on power and how mankind will abuse power no matter what, and that we will lie to get it no matter what we do. And it really is a strong commentary. And I think once people understand that message, it's not anti-religious, it's anti-power and dictatorship, and that's what it is. Because the main character that you're going after, he kind of enslaves at Columbia. And as far as the mechanics go, there was a few people that was telling me that they didn't think the mechanics of it were that good. I thought it was great. This was soon after I got the PS3. I was playing the PS3 version. The PS3 does shooters a little bit weird, where they lock the actual fire button to the top bumper as opposed to the trigger that I was used to on the 360. So this was the first shooter that I actually played like that, and it took a little while to get used to, but once I did, I thought it was very comfortable, especially since you have the powers on the trigger. So it felt very convenient. It actually felt very organized to actually shoot like that. So, and as far as shooter goes, I thought it was decent and fun. You have these cool powers, and I do agree with the negative that you couldn't really change out your weapons. You were kind of stuck with what you found, which really kind of sucked, especially in certain areas. The trailer here is showing a lot of Rapture, but you did see a lot of Columbia in the first part of this. There's a lot of cool places, and a big part of the game is we're in the ending right now, close to the ending, about the lighthouses. And there's a lot of science in Bioshock Infinite, where it's about the multiverse and quantum mechanics, and there's a lot of stuff in here that's just really amazing in what you do. What they talk about, and some of the topics that they touch on is really crazy, and the fact you don't really see this level of science in a game. Elizabeth here is taking us to one of the lighthouses, and the idea here is that these lighthouses are kind of symbols of the multiverse, and all the stars are part of this. And that story is Booker, at least alludes to this story, is telling you initially that Booker is after this girl, and she has to rescue her from Columbia. And you find out the story is a lot more complex than that. I actually was able to get one of my best friends from Target to purchase this game, and he got some other people. It was just like there was like 3 or 4 people that had this game because of me, and the game is truly amazing. I sat there and I watched the ending. The ending is just something you would never think of. It's incredible, and I can't really. I don't want to push it too much. I don't want to ruin it for anyone. I really wish I could say what it is, just because it's just crazy. But the game wasn't too hard. It wasn't too easy as well. I mean, it was really balanced. Fighting the giant songbird was kind of, it wasn't as big of a boss battle as you'd expect. It's actually kind of weird. You're running from this creature for the majority of the game, but in the end, you don't actually have a big boss battle with him. He actually kind of starts to help you for some reason, and you never actually fight him and kill him, which is kind of weird. I mean, he does. I mean, you already saw that it dies, but it's not really your enemy. And Elizabeth is just an amazing character. You almost kind of like you actually. It's a good thing that they made it to where you aren't trying to protect her, because you already feel for her so much. that she's like, she becomes like a friend, and it's just really awesome, the power. And I want to cancel this before we get to the end. Because I don't want to spoil it for anyone. But Bioshock Infinite is really awesome. It is coming out for PlayStation Plus. I believe in January was the announcement, as free. So I highly recommend you pick it up on PlayStation Plus if you have it. Just because it was, in my opinion, game of the year, amazing story. I want to play it again. I'm glad I did not wait for it to become free, and I'm glad I'm glad I picked it up when I did. It really is amazing, and I do recommend it. Make sure to pick it up. If you don't agree with my list, I'm sure there will be plenty, especially with the position of Ghosts and GTA 5 in my list. There are a few honorable mentions that I want to say that did not make the list because one, Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag did not make the list because I did not play it. I am still working through Assassin's Creed series. I'm a major Assassin's Creed fan, so I'm sure a lot of you are wondering why I did not have Assassin's Creed 4 in here, because it does look amazing. I'm sure it is, but I have not played it yet. And I will not play it until I'm finished with the other games, so that's why it's not in here. Battlefield 4, like I said earlier, did not make the list because it had horrible launch issues. From what I hear, I did not have any myself on the multiplayer, but there were so many glitches reported. EA needs to learn how to launch multiplayer-based games with their SimCity disaster and Battlefield 4. EA needs to stop doing this, especially now that they have the Star Wars franchise. I'm really nervous about Star Wars and the future of it with EA. That was some major news. Part of me was really happy that we're going to get Star Wars games again, but then I heard it was EA getting the license, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is going to be scary. And Battlefield 4 didn't make it. Neither did Assassin's Creed 4, simply that because I hadn't played it. Battlefield 4 I have played. It was fun, but like I said before, it was just an HD remake of 3. Did not feel like it deserved a spot on this list. If there are any other games you felt did not make it, let me know. Tell me why one game's better than the other. I really like the games that I think the 10 that I have are worth it. Each of them, regardless of order, they are all amazing games. Definitely pick up Bioshock Infinite for free on PlayStation Plus. I'm going to cancel this now before too much of the ending gets explained. Even if you did watch all of this, you probably wouldn't understand it. You need to hear it and need to have someone explain it to you because it is that complicated. But truly is awesome. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. And hopefully we'll have some reviews of phones and some other games coming up. And you have a wonderful day.